and I thought that I would kind of do almost like a synopsis of maybe the top 5 or 10 things that I've learned playing this game for over 2,000 hours. Your first question is probably like, how in the world did you get enough time to play this game for 2,000 hours? And I played a lot of Call of Duty, and one of those reasons was I sold one of my businesses. I had a lot of time, and so my life really was like just doing what I wanted to do, working out, playing COD, snowboarding, skateboarding, like mountain biking, whatever. So I was kind of fortunate to have that much time to really play. I had never had that much time to play Call of Duty in my life ever. So anyway, in 2,000 hours of COD, I'll show you some of the things I guess that like I don't know made me a better player. A lot of you guys know that I started back on Xbox. I played Xbox the first I don't know 6 months of this game, and then moved over to PlayStation. I met Machine over on Xbox. We moved over here, and since then met a lot of people, learned from a lot of people. And some of these things that I've learned, and again, like it's not rocket science. A lot of it is just like just like a lot of time and experience. But Machine has taught me a lot. He played a lot of CS:GO, and so movement and positioning in that world in accuracy is very important. Just meeting other keyboarders, other controller players, like Flight's really good controller player. Solidify, Receptix, those guys are all good on the keyboard, mouse and keyboard, and yeah, just watching other people play and like watching what they're doing was really big for me. I mean, you know, one thing like I'll show you, it's pretty small, but like was that just maximizing the in-game mechanics, and like that was kind of a new concept for me, only because a lot of the CODs that I played a lot of years ago, like, were very basic, like very basic movement mechanics. You know, I used the XIM on Call of Duty Ghosts, you know, years ago, BO2, and you know, those games were very simple, and so this idea and this concept that you need to learn and master the in-game mechanics. I mean, it's obvious, but it was something that I never did. I came into this game pretty much just like point and shoot, like strafe, point and shoot, nothing special, and I was, you know, not a great player. It was really frustrating. And so learning some of those things were important. Learning how to camera angle, learning the in-game mechanics. Like, just say for example, right here, you know a guy's there. You take a quick little dash, and with a slide, and that helps you get centered. That helps you get positioned. Like just that there is like really big, in like a lot of situations. And obviously you know, your traditional camera angle, it's a slide cancel, and you're kind of strafing back to the left, and you're gonna see the enemy a millisecond before they see you. You know, like that's big. And practicing that was really big. And it took some time to like feel confident and comfortable like snapping on the target, but you know, that was something that really was kind of a game changer for me on this game, is just the basic slide cancel, kind of learning the mechanics of the game, and doing your best to kind of push those mechanics is really as hard as you can, you know, as far as you can. You know, one thing that I have found, like, and this is kind of silly and may seem like elementary, but one thing that I learned is if you're running and you slide backwards twice, you're covering a lot more ground, as if you were to just turn around and sprint. So just little things like that can help you get out of certain situations, win your gunfights, you won't die, etc. Another thing too that, you know, going back and watching some of my older videos, was I kind of learned the importance, you know, Machine kind of he always talked about not missing a bullet, you know? And if you're not, the more accurate you are, obviously, the more important it is. And so, you know, in 2,000 hours, I've really tried to focus on really getting to the point where you're not really missing many bullets. And this, again, like, this concept is like very basic, and it's kind of a no-brainer, but it kind of became like a reality to me. Like, I used to watch Market J play on controller, and I was always blown away by how accurate he was. It was like mind-boggling. And so for me, it was like a goal of mine this year was to really focus on getting accurate while combining kind of like more advanced movement. It's not a great example, but still. Another thing was this is kind of more applicable to like XIM users, like mouse and keyboard users. And I guess it can apply to controller players too. Like, I don't really know all about it these days. I don't really keep up on it. Like what the pros do. I think they play on like, there's a pretty standard sensitivity that pros use. But one thing that helped me is lowering my sensitivity. And I always had, you know, I don't know, like I always had this idea that it didn't really matter as long as you were accurate. And I was playing with Machine one time, and he kind of laid it down, and it's like if your hip sensitivity is too fast, it takes more time to have to do these micro adjustments before you snap onto your target. And when it's slower, you're scanning. You're getting more aim assist, but you're scanning and you're decreasing the amount of time that it takes you to get centered. So playing on lower sensitivity has been helpful for me. And when I play on high sensitivity, like I already am a person that swipes like unnecessarily fast, and it's kind of habit, and I'm kind of like working on, I guess, having more controlled swipes, you know. But finding a sensitivity that works for me, a little bit lower of a sensitivity, kind of made sense. And like when I first started playing on lower sensitivity, man, I couldn't do it. Like, I seriously couldn't do it. It was so hard for me to learn. But through time, I was kind of able to master that, you know. And there are pro like CS:GO players that use like really high sensitivity, but the bulk of them use low sensitivity. And yeah, there are some like PC COD players, like this isn't CS:GO, but like there are some PC COD players that use higher sensitivity, you know. I mean, it is like a personalized thing, and maybe to some my sensitivity is still pretty high. But finding that sensitivity where, you know, where you still have the ability to turn on someone, but no more, no less. Like you're not wasting space doing anything unnecessary, you know. That kind of makes sense. What else? You know, obviously, like with the XIM, and you know, in having like equipment, you're having, you know, mouse pad and everything. I changed from a hard mouse pad to a soft pad. This was probably like a year ago, and that has been like a big thing for me in terms of just in terms of maximizing accuracy. It was really weird at first, but now it feels like totally normal. So that's just something that like I've picked up along the way, is like, and not only that, like monitor depth, how far it is away from you, like your chair height, your chair posture, like how your arm sits on your mouse pad, how much your arm you use. And you know, I still pick the brains of some of my friends that I find really talented. Like, what are they doing? Like, what are they finding that works? Because I think you can always learn from people. And I'm not claiming to be the best at all. I just have a long play, and I'm constantly trying to progress and do things right, do things proper, and find things that may work better for my dexterity level. It's obviously it's different for everybody, and that, you know, the same thing goes for settings too. Like settings that may benefit one person or sensitivity might not work well for the other person. So it's really spending a lot of time, like, I guess, dialing that in. Oh, what else? I mean, overall, like, I know it's pretty general. Like, I didn't go into depth about, like, you know, a lot of those things, but for the most part, it's, I guess one thing too that, you know, and I guess the difference between, you know, an average Call of Duty player and a good Call of Duty player is positioning, and that's something that, you know, Sheen is really good at. Solidify, some of my friends, they're really good at putting themselves in like optimum positions, you know, where I tend to kind of just run around like a maniac. I've really been trying to focus on how my positions, because they say that, you know, first-person shooters is 20% shooting and 80% positioning, so it's like smarter in how you, just basically how you play, how exposed are you putting yourself, what is the risk versus reward, things like that. And that, you know, that comes with time. Like, you can't be a good COD player just on accuracy alone, or the XIM alone, or being able to shoot straight. It, you know, is really how are you playing the game? Like, how are you positioning yourself? What gun are you using, and what kind of play style is that? So that's about it, guys. I hope that kind of makes sense to some of you. You know, unfortunately, I haven't played much of Modern Warfare. I'm still kind of playing BO4 here and there. I'm not playing as much as I used to. I started my dream job a couple weeks ago, which has kept me pretty busy. So now it's kind of just been like some late night league grinds, pubs, just kind of having fun with the friends. And so, yeah, guys, I appreciate the support, and I thought I'd check in with you, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.